Mathematical Academy, and in this video we are going to look at concentration of a solution. So if you're watching for the first time, remember to support us by liking, following, and also subscribing to our YouTube channel. So without much further ado, let us now understand what does this mean when we talk about concentration of a solution. So one of the most important things that we need to understand when it comes to chemistry and more concept is we have to take care of some of the few things. And the following Okay, so now what you can see is that we have two formulas, okay? We've got two formulas that we're supposed to understand. So there is a concentration in terms of a mass, okay? And in terms of the number of moles. So you have to be very careful. So we have concentration equals to mass over moles, or concentration equals to moles over volume. So once you understand the formula to use, then we also need to understand what is concentration. Okay, so to define concentration, we can define it in terms of based on the formulas that we have. So concentration is just the amount of solid. Okay, so we are saying that concentration is just, simply means the amount of solid per unit volume. So we are looking at how much of something dissolves into a liquid, okay? And this liquid takes the unit of volume. So the amount of solid per unit volume is what is called concentration. Now let us also look at what are the SI units of concentration, okay? So now when you're looking at the units of concentration, we have got two things, okay? We have the one for the grams when the substance in consideration is more especially a solid thing, okay? Let's say, for example, sodium chloride. Talking about sodium chloride, and then we are dissolving that, okay? So we have to understand how much, what is the mass of this sodium chloride that we are putting in this solution. I mean, we are putting the water in order to form the solution, okay? So we have grams per mole, and also we have another unit of concentration, which is this moles per volume. So what are the units of moles per volume? Just moles per decimeter cubic. So the standard unit of volume is the decimeter cubic, or liters, okay? So you're going to look at the simplest example so that we can understand what you're talking about. Let's continue. Now, if you're talking about the conversion of units, so the most important thing to understand is we look at volume, okay? So we know that volume is in that decimeter cubic, okay? Which is okay, so that is a decimeter cubic. Now, so from decimeter cubic, we can change to this, okay? But then we have to understand what is the conversion unit, okay? What is the conversion unit? Now we understand that in physics we have things like, let's say, we are looking at the mass of an object. We have, let's say, from kg to grams, or grams to kg, okay? So we have to understand how can we convert the units, okay, from cubic centimeters to decimeter cubic, okay? So we have to know that. So then we have one decimeter is equal to 1,000 cubic centimeters, okay? So 1 decimeter equals to 1,000 cubic centimeters, okay? Now, if let's say, for example, if you have the volume okay, so now if the volume is given as 20 decimeter cubic, then what is that in cubic centimeters? Okay, so you have to be you have to understand the conversion unit, because if you don't understand the conversion unit, becomes very difficult for you to really understand and obviously get the answer correct. Okay, so what you're going to do, we know that 1 cubic equals to this. Now we want to convert this to this one to cubic centimeters. So what you do is you say 20. So we say 20 multiplied by, okay, 1 decimeter as a denominator, and then 1,000 this. So from there now, this and this can go out, and then just remain with 20 multiplied by, okay, and this is going to give us 20,000. So this will give us 20,000, or this is just 2 times 10 to the power 4. Okay. Now this is how simply you can convert these units from a decimeter to cubic centimeters. So we have to ensure that we understand the procedure before we can dive deep into the concentration, how to find the concentration of a particular substance. So let's now dive into, before we dive into that, let's also see how we can now convert back from cubic centimeters back to decimeter cubic. Okay. So now, how do we convert that? So convert the following. So we're going to convert So now this is very important for us to be able to do, because the volume that may be given in the question may be changed, okay, interchangeably. Sometimes they'll give you the volume in cubic centimeters. Sometimes they also give you the volume in decimeter cubic. So make sure that you're comfortable when it comes to changing. So let's change these numbers to the given unit, okay. So now we are changing this one to this one. So what you do is, we know okay, now 1 decimeter equals to this, and then x equals to this, okay. So now what you have is this equals to that. Now what about this 10 cubic centimeters? How much is it in decimeter? So from there we do this, and then we say this times this, this times this, 1 times 10 plus 10, then you divide. Okay, then from there this goes. And this is how you can convert